I sold my house, wanted to buy more Bitcoin because I thought that was a much better use of that equity. So I had a very gracious wife who was supportive of that decision. And obviously, it's a house we live in with our children. So
it's not easy.
A lot of work went into that and sacrifice on my wife's part. Very grateful for the economic decision to sell the home to buy Bitcoin. It's just, when you look at the math of it, is an absolute no-brainer. It doesn't make sense to own property in Sydney. An average median house price in Sydney of $2 million, and the average income is $100,000. Like 20 times the average income is just, it's chasing a dream that's no longer there. Property in Australia, I believe, is completely cooked. We have the highest cost per income ratio in the world, higher than Canada, and Canada's or Vancouver's property market's stupid. Sydney's just as bad, if not worse. And it just doesn't make any sense to hold that much equity in family home. What's interesting, and this is what we're seeing actually in the last 6 months, has been a complete sea change with a lot of our older clients that we work with. We are finding are selling large percentages of their property portfolio to put that into Bitcoin. They might be 65 years of age. They're looking at their kids. They've got 2 kids living at home thinking, hang on a second, I think the property market in Australia could look like the Japanese stock market for the last 30 years. That could be the future of, Western property. Basically, you go nowhere for 3 decades because you've got all that excess, and it's way, way, way above it. It's going to take 3 decades to correct itself. But at the same time, there's only one asset you really want to own moving forward, and that's Bitcoin, because that will grow into and take up, a much larger percentage of the pie. And this is where my expectation is, out of the total value, if you carve a pie out at the moment and say there's $1 quadrillion and properties, 300 trillion of it, I think Bitcoin can get to nearly 50% of that entire pie. But it just means the pie grows from 1 trillion to 10 trillion, and you've got $4 or $5 trillion in Bitcoin, and everything else makes up the rest. So it's accretive to everyone, including the property owners. But if you want to increase your percentage of that pie, you have to buy Bitcoin because that's the fastest growing asset.
I love that analogy to the Japanese stock market. I think that's absolutely fascinating.